afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. At colleges and universities around the country, there are thousands of traditional programs for future business entrepreneurs and leaders. Those traditional programs usually lead to a Master's in Business Administration, or MBA. At the University of Vermont, there's a relatively new business program that is anything but traditional. UVM students are learning how to create the business work of tomorrow with an eye on solving today's problems. Rebecca Gollin tells us more.
This may look like just any classroom, but what these students are learning is anything but business as usual.
Can business solve some of the most difficult problems that humanity faces by being creative and thoughtful and innovative?
Program director Joe Fusco spends a lot of time thinking about how to make the business world better.
The problems that we have in the next 50 years of human society look very different than the problems we've had over the last 50 years. So we can't approach business, we can't approach the way we manage and create businesses the same way in the future that we have in the past.
These students are part of the Sustainable Innovation Masters in Business Administration program at the University of Vermont's Grossman School of Business. It's a one-year program that incorporates learning traditional business skills like finances and operations within a larger framework of environmental and social responsibility.
So you start off with the idea, then you build this into your first product, and then you say, well, how would this first product actually build to a second product, a third product? How would it go into a more, not only environmentally and socially sustainable business, but a financially sustainable business as well?
Eric Munson is one of the professors in the program. In his class, students work in groups to come up with a sustainable business model.
Well, this course is getting their feet wet, probably not only their feet, but their knees, their hips, the whole body wet really quickly. Instead of waiting till the end of the program to throw them into an integrative course where you pull together all the skills, we decided it was important, and the students early on thought it was important, that they get exposed to entrepreneurship as early as possible.
On this day, the students are presenting those models to their classmates and the public.
Our business is Microsun, and it's basically a small solar kit for people who can't afford to get the full solar array that's sold for houses and homeowners and businesses.
And that's enough to power your TV, 2 laptops, charge your cell phone.
Noelle Nierenda and her group created a business model for a new kind of solar company. Each of the team members brought different skills to the project. For Nierenda, who had a career as a mechanical engineer before coming back to school, working in a team setting was itself part of the learning process.
It was more back and forth, more iterations, and not just within our group and our team, but also we had to do customer interviews, we had to research competitors in the field. So it was a lot more involved, and I really felt like I did learn a lot, though, just from the process of it. And just to realize that, there isn't just one way to solve a problem.
Nierenda was drawn to the program for its emphasis on solving those real-world problems.
I just felt like for development-wise and for improving living standards, there's only so much that being in the engineering field can do, but the biggest impact is what businesses have. And I really just wanted to be able to have greater impact with my technical knowledge by being able to produce better products, and I guess also understand how businesses can take up the role in development.
Some of the business models at the trade show are more than just an exercise. They're based on actual businesses.
My business is Greenman Acres, so it's a diversified farm on 230 acres in Moncton.
Former Marine Cameron McMahon is hoping to get his diversified farm business going next year. Since his group had to come up with a workable idea for the project, he pitched his business, and they decided to use it as their model.
Forestry and wood products, livestock, market garden and orchard, and hosting weddings and events. And so those are kind of the 4 core areas of the farm that I'm going to be developing.
The teams had to complete a variety of tasks, including developing competitor analysis and market research. Seeing the real numbers that go along with the different ventures he's planning has given McMahon a lot to think about.
Prior to coming into the program, my intention had been to really explore starting the wedding side of the business as kind of the first main focus. The main reason that I've kind of pulled back on that is because there's higher startup costs and more risk involved, potentially much higher revenues with it, but in being able to focus on something that's smaller scale, lower cost in the meantime to actually generate some revenue in the next couple of years makes more sense to me.
It's a new kind of business leader from the heart of Vermont.
I often hear that, well, what can Vermont do? It's just a small state. And maybe what can UVM do? It's just one university. And so the thing I like to tell everybody is, and it might be a cliche, but it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So we all have responsibility to do what we can where we are, no matter how insignificant we think it is. It's not for us to judge whether what we're doing is insignificant. It's for us to take action and see what we can do to make change happen.
Changing the business world for the better, one future leader at a time. At the University of Vermont, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.
And a footnote to Rebecca's story. UVM's program is ranked #1 in the country by the Princeton Review. This year's Sustainable Innovation MBA class totals 41 students from all over the world. Our next segment involves some business ingenuity at UVM. For decades, the UVM Dairy Bar served students and the general public. But in the 1990s, rising costs forced the university to close the popular spot. Well, fast forward to 2018, and there's a new dairy bar at UVM. Now, instead of being exclusive to UVM, the new shop is a shared effort between several Vermont businesses. We get the scoop from Across the Fence's Keith Silva.
Really good ideas are immortal.
The story of the UVM Dairy Bar is a lot like the ice cream that's served there. Rich, rewarding, and 100% Vermont. When the Dairy Bar at the Davis Student Center served its first scoop in 2017, it was returning to a long-held and well-loved campus tradition. The first Dairy Bar opened at Kerrigan Hall in 1950. You could find sandwiches and coffee on the menu, but the signature products were milk and ice cream made from the school's dairy cows. More than a place to grab a quick bite, the Dairy Bar was also a classroom. Students learned the science behind milk processing and the business of making and selling value-added products. The Dairy Bar closed in 1995 due to rising costs and the changes in food safety policies. It may have been gone, but the Dairy Bar has never been forgotten.
I remember at the time for 50 cents you could get a hot fudge sundae, and it was just a dynamite experience, and so I'd have at least one or two a week, and that was always the high point of the week.
Tom Vogelman is a member of the UVM class of 1974, and now the Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences.
You know, in these positions you travel around the state and you talk with people, and even though people knew I was a plant biologist, teaching biology courses, they'd always sort of work the conversation around to, you know, why did that dairy bar ever go away? Because it was such a wonderful thing. So prior to me being dean, I heard about it. And then when I became dean, I really heard about it. So it was something that people really expressed so much interest in bringing back. We figured, well, why not?
If the decision to reopen the Dairy Bar was easy, the effort to make this more than a vanity project would require coordination, connections, and cream. One thing that hasn't changed since the 1950s is that UVM continues to manage a herd of dairy cows. CREAM is the Cooperative for Real Education in Agricultural Management. It's a year-long class that puts UVM undergrads in charge of a 50-cow milking herd.
All the ice cream served at the UVM Dairy Bar is made with milk from these cows. The students have even named a few flavors of their own, like Sweet Cream and Melody's Mint Chocolate Chip. The milk goes from the farm to the St. Albans Cooperative Creamery to be turned into an ice cream mix. With the source and the processor locked down, now it's only a matter of finding someone to make the ice cream. If only there was someone from those old dairy bar days that still made ice cream in Vermont. If only.
I actually started making ice cream with my dad when I was about 10 years old, so which would be 1950, 52. So by 1962, when I started school, we were making ice cream Saturday mornings instead of watching cartoons.
Howard Wilcox runs Wilcox Premium Ice Cream with his children Christina and Craig. Their family has been in the ice cream business since 1928.
It is really very rewarding for me as a person to graduate from UVM and now be able to manufacture a value-added product for them and return it back to the students. Because when I went to school, that's what we did. You know, we made it at the hall and they came and ate it.
While he was at UVM, Howard received some valuable advice that he continues to follow today.
I think it was Dean Miller, was Dean of Agriculture, and he said, "We won't teach you everything you need to know, but hopefully we teach you where to find what you don't know." So I always remember that from the day that I met him, and I've tried to use that in everything that I do.
At their facility in East Arlington, the Wilcoxes make about 80,000 gallons of ice cream a year. Some of the company's most popular products are their limited batch flavors, like White Mountain Raspberry and Sweet Cream Caramel Apple. For Christina Wilcox, these one-of-a-kind flavors speak to her father's love for making ice cream.
As my father says, you design an ice cream product. He's flavoring it. We're deciding, is it too much? Is it too little? I really think my dad is the master of flavoring. He wants to take you on a sort of on a ride, you know, as you're experiencing the ice cream. He also really wants you to taste the ice cream, not a massive level of sweet inclusions. He wants you to taste ice cream.
It gives me the feeling that I can make something that really has my touch to it because I've flavored the ice cream for all these years. It's just been a passion, and I really enjoy doing it, and I enjoy creating new flavors.
One of the flavors being made by Wilcox for UVM is Catamount Tracks. It's a sweet cream ice cream filled with fudge swirls and peanut butter cups. For Howard, the only thing better than creating new flavors is working with his family.
I'm fourth generation, and my son Craig and my daughter Christy are the fifth generation, and now I have sixth generation, which is my grandson Austin and my grandsons Cole and Owen. And this summer when we were making ice cream, there was 5 of us making ice cream and 3 generations. So it's really very rewarding to be able to pass the torch to other generations and to show them some of the things that I have learned. I have already found there's things they have learned that they incorporate. So this is very exciting and very important to us to do this.
To complete the circuit, Howard's son, Craig, delivers the ice cream to the dairy bar. His family's legacy and his dad's connection to the school make his stop at UVM a special delivery.
It's a piece of my past, you know, it's from the time I've been a little kid. I've been involved in it with my father, you know, whether it's making ice cream or on the truck delivering with him, and, you know, holidays and summers. And it's a really neat experience to think that, you know, my father made ice cream here, and then, so yeah, it's pretty neat to see it come around full circle again.
The new UVM Dairy Bar fits with the phrase, everything that's old is new again. But there's more to this story than bringing back a part of the past.
It's one of these unique stories that I think we can tell in Vermont. We have, I would say, a deep respect for connections, and this is a connection that goes back decades. And what that allows you to do is to take on difficult projects and make them happen. Well, I think Vermonters have a very well-developed sense of place. Because we had this long tradition of having a high-quality dairy bar, that was something that they all related to. It was something that was Vermont. I think it's really important for people to be able to connect food with place. As a land-grant institution, we have a long tradition of doing that. So recognizing this as an opportunity, we're very fortunate to work with several partners to bring the dairy bar back. And we'll see where it goes. It's been very successful, but it's just a beginning.
Cultivating connections and uniting communities with ice cream. In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Thank you, Keith, and thank you for joining us. That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.